Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do Black Sun issue number 4 by Wildstorm. Let's dive right in. So we continue with Maggie here, confronting this wizard dude, and she attacks him because he revealed that he is her father, and he smacks her away, and he talks about destiny and such, and then she's been thrown out of the window. I must say. Although I'm not particularly a big fan of the cartoony art. I mean, the art on itself is good, or good enough. But I don't really like the aesthetic, and it's also mostly pretty dark when it comes to the colors. The colors are alright, but I wish there was more. I don't know, more lighter tones, if you will, and if I'm being critical, overcritical, this glass looks all the same. I mean, that's not how glass works. But overall, this is a cool shot. And there's actually backgrounds. That's great. My favorite part of every comic. So she's falling down and falling down and falling down. But then she has been, I don't know, stopped midway or being teleported. I'm not entirely sure. And then there's a car. And the car needs to brake. And he is, I don't know, falling into the hole that she was in. I believe there was a hole. And then she jumps away. And this guy says, "Hey, are you crazy? If you want to kill yourself, use pills next time." And he says, "What about my car?" And she just doing the hocus pocus thing. And the car is, being lifted out of the hole. The weird thing is that she is not really, surprised that she is doing that. She just waves her hand and magic is coming out, or just doing magic things. And she's not really surprised, which disturbs me a little bit, because if I, falling down from I don't know how many stories, and then, being teleported, or, landing on the ground and not being phased at all, I want to know what's happening with me, right? What am I doing? How is this happening? And instead of, just walking away and waving your hand. Anyway, so wizard guy is being being scolded by this this is basically the uncle of Maggie Sun, which is the girl that's been falling, and he's being a little bit fed up with his insubordination, and then he does something to him, and I think maybe he's been knocked out, but it seems that there's something happening to him, I guess. So Maggie comes here to her boyfriend, knocks on his door, and she's tried to be funny, says, "Hey, sexy, got a back teen." I don't know if I'm, looking like that and, having like I said, thrown out of the building, I wouldn't be so quippy about, doing stuff like this. And then she is, he wants to call the ambulance. She says no, and then she melts his telephone. Why would you do that? And she says, "I had a little run-on with Uncle Zhao and the 10-foot demon dude who claims to be my real father." And there's more jokes, and sometimes the jokes land. In this case, it does not. Because he suddenly says, well, her boyfriend, "And let me guess, your Princess Leia is your sister, right?" And yes, he says, "Nate, honey, calm down. I hate it when you speak loser." Now, that actually triggered me a bit, although it shouldn't. Because what you're trying to say then here, Maggie, is that if you have pop culture reference and you say it like that, you're a loser. Okay, doesn't really matter, but I think that was not really a smart part of the writer saying stuff like that. I mean, comics mostly, maybe not, it's mostly for nerds. Here, I dare to say it. I mean, no, well, maybe not anymore, but it was a time when mostly nerds play Dungeons and Dragons, playing games, reading comic books, playing video games. That's all been normalized now, but back in the day, it was more a nerd culture that, doing stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I'm also a nerd, right? But also not. If that makes any sense. Anyway, moving on. And so she talks about what happened, and then we skip to the wristbands. Remember the wristbands from, the other comics, before this issue 1, 2, and 3? Well, me neither. But it seems that kids has having these quote unquote magical wristbands, and they analyzed it, and because they came from a certain place, and that they confiscated them, and it seems that they are just normal, plastic wristbands, but there's also a low level radioactivity in it, and nothing worse. The kids doesn't get cancer or something, but it's there. And it's also that the wristbands or the creatures is based on mythology, according to a contact on Nate's. Nate says that this, one of his contacts saying that. Okay, cool, can be, could be. And but Maggie says, well, I'm all tired and I'm damaged and I want to be alone, and so she kicks him out. And then we go to, and she is having a breakdown. And when she's trying to sleep, she's getting a vision, and she says, what have I got myself into? And then there's a voice, child, it is written. And then weird stuff happens, and she also transforms into a demon. But that's more like a dream, I guess, or a vision, or what's to come, not entirely sure. Moving on. So we see Nate here in his office, and then he wants to investigate stuff, what happened, and then Uncle Zhao comes in, and Uncle Zhao wants to have a talk with Nate. And I don't know what's wrong with his face. It seems that he has a really bad cold and his nose is leaking, or he's drunk too much water and it all spills out. Could be maybe that it was blood, because the wizard zapped in, but probably the colorist forgot to make it red. I'm just guessing, I don't know. Well, it looks weird, and Nate doesn't even comment on that, about the stuff that's leaking out of its mouth. But he says, I'm shocked that you are here, Zhao, but I guess all the money breeds a certain amount of arrogance, doesn't it? And he talks about Maggie. He says she's been... She looks like she's been went through a wood chipper, you bastard. I hope you have a good lawyer. And then he closed the door, so he says, now we're not getting interrupted, and he changes, and then there's some kind of a glow. Something's happening. Okay. I was wondering what, but we don't see that because, well, the spell, I don't know, the kids are waking up because this demon or whatever it is, awaken sleepers, awaken and feed. So every kid changes into these demons, which I like. It's actually cool. And now that I think about it, this whole comic reminds me a little bit of maybe a bad 90s kung fu action movie with, those bad CGI special effects. Or this could be a morning Saturday cartoon. Sometimes it feels like it. It's not really extremely excited, but it's fun, and that's the key word. And I'm entertained by this, although this comic is not really that spectacular, but it's fun about, all this weird stuff is happening. So yeah, the kids are going onto streets, wreaking havoc, trashing everything. Maggie is waking up. She looks outside. I love this particular part here, the scene that she's looking outside of the window, and then we see all this chaos and flames and creatures, running around, try to hurt people. And she is also here changing. Then she goes outside, and she says, like I said, the dialogue is not always landing. She says, fuck me. And then this monster says, okay, but I'm first. Dude. And then she says, as much as the idea of playing the accused with you guys sounds like fun, how about a little fire starter instead? This is what happens when you insert too much pop culture in comics, because 30 years later, it doesn't land at all, because I know what Firestarter is, because I come from the time period and I saw the movie. I have no idea what The Accused is. Is that a TV series? Is that a Dungeons and Dragons game? I have no fucking clue. Therefore, the joke doesn't land. So, pop culture, okay. Rein it in. Don't do it too much, because this doesn't hold up. But then she's getting knocked out by one of the demons. Then her boyfriend comes, drags her into the car, and she says, hey, where are we going? To see your father. And she knocks her out. He knocks her out. And that's the end of the video. Cool. Okay, I like that. I like that. A lot of chaos. Overall, like I said, this is it's mostly a hit and miss with this comic. Some things work, some things don't. Like I highlighted it earlier. We'll see. There's only 2 issues to go, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.